talked about, right? We talked about Rabbi Moses Mitzles. He was a chassid of the Rebbe. Okay, I'll tell you a story how he became the chassid of the Rebbe. This is an interesting story. The Gaon of Vilna, Rabbi Eliyahu of Vilna, he was a tremendous genius in Torah. And he would learn like 22 hours a day. He would almost eat nothing. He was learning Torah all the time. Had tremendous powers of holiness, and he wrote of Kabbalah. He understood, and he became the big opposer for the Alter Rebbe, for the first Rebbe of Chabad. He became the big opposer, or at least in name he was. Okay, but he realized the importance of combating somehow or other what was called the Enlightenment movement. The Enlightenment movement were Jews that were so impressed by the philosophy and the new blossoming intellect of the late 1700s and 1800s, and they were so unimpressed by Judaism that they decided to leave Judaism. The Torah was old and this, and they adopted all these ideas, like Spinoza and these people. They were sort of basically the whole thing. What's it called? Moses Mendelssohn. And anyway, they became big opposers to the Torah. But on the other hand, they made big strides in science and in philosophy. Even though all the science and things that the ideas they had are not, almost non-existent. Nobody even holds by the things that they had. But then, nevertheless, it was very, very impressive. So the first Rebbe of Chabad, he decided. One second. I'm sorry. So the Gaon of Vilna decided he was going to send 10 people, and according to other versions, he sent 10 minyanim of his best pupils to go to Berlin and to learn the new ideas and to use that for Judaism. Well, it didn't work. All of them became non-religious, except for two of them. And one of them was Moses Mitzles, and the other one was this other person whose name was Fagin. And Moshe Mitzles, they both, however it was, they came to the Alter Rebbe. They somehow or other came to the Alter Rebbe. They saw all their friends went off. Moshe Mitzles, he saw the first Rebbe of Chabad, and he was tremendously impressed, and he stayed. This fellow, Fagin, he stayed by the Alter Rebbe, but he but he didn't leave he was impressed by the Enlightenment people, and he had big doubts about Judaism. In any case, one time he was at a speech of the first Rebbe of Chabad. There was a speech, and the first Rebbe of Chabad was explaining washing your hands for meal according to Kabbalah. And he stood, this fellow Fagin, with a little smirk on his face. So the Rebbe said, it looks to me like he's got a little worm. A worm is eating away at his soul. And he said to him, he was a big businessman, this Fagin fellow. He was a genius in all aspects of the Torah and everything. And he was also a businessman. And from time to time, he would go to do his business. He would make a lot of money and would come back. One time, after this episode, he was going to a business, and the Rebbe said to him, on your way, go to wherever you're going, go to see Rabbi, I think, Shlomo of Karlin. Go to see him. So that's what he did. He went to the Rabbi Shlomo of Karlin, and he went to Rabbi Shlomo Karlin, and he sat outside of his door. Meanwhile, it was eating away. This Fagin was eating away at his soul. Maybe this whole Judaism is it's just a big lie. It's just a big fake. I'm missing so much in the world. Fun. And in any case, he's sitting outside. No one was else waiting outside of the door, and he hears inside of Rabbi Shlomo Karlian. He hears somebody running back and forth in the room, pacing back and forth, chairs being knocked over. He doesn't know what to do. He's just sitting outside. Suddenly the door opens up. Rabbi Shlomo Karlin looks out, and he was a very holy person. And he said, maybe after all, God does exist. And he slammed the door. And he was really very shaken, And he heard the running back and forth again in the room. And he didn't know, should he go? Should he leave? And the door opened up. And again, Rabbi Karlin said, maybe after all, God exists. Tomer fort Oltz is Frana Eibishter. Maybe after everything, God exists. He closed the door. And he did this a third time. When he did that, this fellow Fagin just ran, he ran out. And it didn't take much time. He left Judaism totally, and he became a big minister in the government, in the big government. There was a time when they were going to make the first Rebbe of Chabad passed away. And there was going to be a time when they decided that they were going to make a road through the city of Haditch, where the first Rebbe, where the Alter Rebbe was buried, and they were going to go through where his grave was. So the second Rebbe of Chabad took this fellow Moses Mitzles and said, "Go to this minister, Fagin. He used to be by us, and I hope I'm getting this part of the story right. And ask him to change where the road goes. He's the minister of roads, or minister of the interior, whatever. It's all Russian." So he goes there. He goes to the Petersburg, wherever it is, and he's ushered into this big room, and with guards standing there, and this Fagin is sitting there, and he claps his hands. He says, "Bring in some food." So they bring in food. Now, this Moshe Mitzles, he's a little bit afraid now. He's starting to get scared. Says, this fellow, he became an apostate. He's got total control over me. I'm just helpless over here. There's these big guards. What's going to be? So they bring him in this big tray that's covered over, and they put it on his desk, and he tells the people to go out. And they go out, the guards to go out, and he opens up reveals what's on on the plate. What's on the plate is a bottle of vodka and a couple of pickles or whatever, some vegetables. And he said, "I want to make a farbrengen." He said, I've left Judaism. I want nothing to do with Torah, nothing to do with the commandments, but I miss the farbrengens. I miss the Chassidic get-togethers. So they sat together and they drank, they sang Chassidic songs, and this Fagin, he cried. And he said, "Now I want to make a request." He said, "What's the reason you came here? I want you to change that road that's going to come." He said, "Bring me a map." He brought a map, opened up the map, said, "This is where the road is going to go." He said, "Bring me an eraser." Bring an eraser, erased the place of Haditch, made a big line around, right? A line. He said, "That's it. It's been changed." So he said, "I want you to know something." Said that the first Rebbe, when he sent me to Rabbi Shlomo Karlian, and Rabbi Shlomo Karlian said, "Maybe after all there is God," as that echoes in my mind all the time. I can't leave that. That echoes in my mind. Maybe there is God. I can't be sure, positive of my atheism. But maybe after all there is a creator. Maybe that. And so he said, "But why was it that the Alter Rebbe himself, why didn't he say that to me? Why did he send me to that person?" So I don't know if he told it to him or when he retold the story. Right? He told to him, he said, "I don't know." But afterwards, when he retold the story, they said, "Really, why was it that the Alter Rebbe didn't say himself, maybe there is God?" He said, "Because the first Rebbe of Chabad couldn't bring himself to say, maybe there is God. Maybe there is." Even to say with a doubt, even just to say the words, "maybe there is God." In other words, he's not sure. He couldn't bring himself to do. So that's the story of how the road did not go through the grave of Alter Rebbe. Had this Fagin, it could be this fellow Fagin in the end, he became, or his relatives, at least his offspring, because there's several people in Chabad with the name of Fagin, also with that same name. So it could be it comes from the same family. But the story of Moses Mitzles is also an involved story, which that'll be for another time. Have a good Shabbat with Mashiach now. God willing, we'll meet together at 8:15 next week, which by you is 7 hours different. 1:15, same thing.
1:15 Eastern time.
1:15, right? Okay. God bless you. Have a good Shabbos with Mashiach now, and see you all. Thank you for coming.
Amen. Amen.